Joining the military was a dream come true for me. I envisioned a life of discipline, camaraderie, and service. I was ready to give my all, to become part of something bigger than myself. But what I wasn't prepared for was the enemy within my own ranks. The first few months were everything I'd hoped for. The training was intense, grueling even, but I loved it. I was pushing my limits, forging bonds with my fellow recruits, and learning what it meant to be a soldier. Then, he arrived. Let's call him Sergeant Miller. From day one, he singled me out. It started small, nitpicking my uniform, extra duties, verbal jabs in front of the platoon. I tried to brush it off. This is the military, I told myself. It's supposed to be tough. I worked harder, kept my head down, and focused on my training, hoping he would eventually move on to someone else. But he didn't. The harassment escalated. It went from verbal put-downs to outright sabotage. My gear would go missing right before an inspection. I'd be assigned impossible tasks with unrealistic deadlines, setting me up for failure and public humiliation. He would spread rumors, isolating me from the very people I was supposed to trust with my life. The camaraderie I had cherished was eroding. My platoon mates, afraid of becoming his next target, started to keep their distance. The barracks, once a place of shared jokes and stories, became a space of silence and tension for me. I was walking on eggshells, constantly looking over my shoulder. The stress was immense. My performance started to suffer, which only gave him more ammunition. I wasn't sleeping. I was losing weight. The dream I had chased so passionately was turning into a living nightmare. I knew I had to do something. I had two options: endure it and risk my mental health and career, or speak up and risk everything. The military has a strict chain of command and procedures for reporting misconduct. It's called an open-door policy. In theory, you can go to any leader to voice your concerns. But in practice, it's a terrifying prospect. You're taught to trust your leaders, to follow orders without question. Reporting one of them feels like a betrayal of the system itself. I was scared. I'd heard stories about retaliation, about how making waves could get you labeled as a troublemaker, effectively ending your career before it even began. For weeks, I agonized over the decision. I documented everything. Every incident, every date, every witness. I built a case, a timeline of the psychological warfare he was waging against me. Finally, I found the courage. With my heart pounding, I walked into my company commander's office. I requested to speak with him privately and laid out my log of events. I was professional, stuck to the facts, and presented my evidence clearly. He listened patiently, his expression unreadable. He assured me he would launch an investigation and that I had done the right thing. A wave of relief washed over me. For the first time in months, I felt a glimmer of hope. I thought, this is it. It's finally going to be over. I was so naive. The next day, the retaliation began, and it was far worse than anything Miller had done. It was systematic. Suddenly I was the one under investigation. False accusations started flying. They claimed I was insubordinate, that I had failed to follow orders, that I had a bad attitude. Miller had friends in high places, and it closed ranks around him. My entire character was being assassinated. My fellow soldiers, who had witnessed the bullying, were now being questioned. Some were pressured into giving statements against me. Others were too afraid to tell the truth. I was completely ostracized. People I once considered friends would turn and walk the other way when they saw me coming. I was assigned to menial, isolating tasks far away from my platoon. They were trying to break me, to make me quit, to make me withdraw my complaint, so it would all just go away. It was the darkest period of my life. I felt utterly alone, betrayed by the very institution I had sworn to serve. The system designed to protect me was now being used as a weapon against me. The thought of giving up crossed my mind more times than I can count, but I refused to be broken. I held on to the truth. I knew I hadn't done anything wrong. Every time they brought a new false accusation, I calmly and methodically refuted it with facts, with my own documentation. I requested access to records, pointed out inconsistencies in their stories, and stood my ground. The investigation dragged on for what felt like an eternity. It was a war of attrition. They were counting on me to crumble under the pressure. During this time, I leaned heavily on my family back home. Their unwavering belief in me was my lifeline. I also found a few key people within the military, outside of my direct chain of command, who saw what was happening and offered quiet support and guidance. A chaplain, an old instructor, their small acts of kindness reminded me I wasn't entirely alone. They advised me to stay strong, keep documenting everything, and trust the process, as flawed as it was. Then one day it happened. A senior investigator from a higher command, someone outside the influence of Miller and his circle, was assigned to my case. He was thorough, impartial, and fair. He re-interviewed everyone. He looked at the evidence from all sides. He saw the pattern of harassment in my initial complaint and the subsequent coordinated retaliation. The tide began to turn. The inconsistencies in the stories against me became glaringly obvious. The witnesses who had been pressured started changing their tunes when questioned by an unbiased party. The truth, which had been buried under a mountain of lies, finally started to surface. The investigation concluded. I was called into the battalion commander's office. He looked me in the eye and told me I was completely exonerated. All the false accusations against me were dismissed. They were unfounded. The feeling was indescribable. It wasn't a celebration. It was a deep, profound sense of vindication. It was the weight of the world lifting off my shoulders. In the end, Sergeant Miller was held accountable. He was formally reprimanded and eventually moved to a different unit where he would be in a leadership position. The culture of fear he had created began to dissipate. Slowly, my relationships with my peers started to mend. Some even came to me privately and apologized for not speaking up sooner, admitting they were scared. I understood. My experience was a brutal lesson in the complexities of human nature and large institutions. It taught me that courage isn't about the absence of fear. It's about acting in spite of it. It taught me the power of integrity and the importance of documenting everything. Standing up for what is right is often the hardest path, filled with isolation and risk, but it is the only path to true justice. My military career was forever changed by this, but I didn't quit. I finished my contract with my head held high. If you're going through something similar, whether it's in the military, at work, or at school, please know that you are not alone. It can feel like the entire world is against you, but you must hold on to your truth. Document everything, seek out support systems, and don't let them break your spirit. And if you are struggling with the mental and emotional toll, please reach out for help. There are resources available, people who will listen and support you without judgment. It takes incredible strength to fight back, but it takes even more strength to ask for help when you need it. Your well-being is the top priority. Thank you for listening to my story. If it resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more content. Stay strong.